Season's greetings, or season's beatings. Santa has lost his Christmas spirit and is on a killer rampage in the action-packed movie. Get the inside scoop on how David Harbour became the perfect Santa Claus for Violent Night, and what you don't see in the movie. How did David Harbour fit in his role as Santa Claus for the movie, and what do the movie critics think about it? You're gonna have to keep watching this video to find out. First up, let's talk a little on what the movie is about. This Christmas season's standout offerings include Violent Night, a chaotic adventure that combines action and comedy with seasonal enthusiasm. Santa, played by David Harbour, has a few punches up his sleeve, and he's not beyond using force to punish those who have been naughty. Harbour's performance is receiving high praise in the early reviews thanks to a fantastic storyline. The actor's recruitment was highlighted by director Tommy Ricola in a recent interview with Screen Rant. In the movie Violent Night, Santa Claus shows up to a house where a wealthy and dysfunctional group is getting together for Christmas. Young Trudy wants her divorced parents Jason and Linda, who were split apart by the domineering Lightstone matriarch Gertrude, to get back together. Rather than annoying relatives ruining Christmas, it's Scrooge's band of murderous thugs will go after Gertrude's fortune. Despite his initial reluctance, Santa ultimately decides to save the day for a young girl in the family. Harbour is incredibly believable in his unconventional portrayal of Saint Nick, whose deeds aren't exactly saintly. Nobody anticipated Santa Claus entering the scene, and his merry elf has a naughty streak. As the unhappy Kris Kringle, David Harbour is more than up to the task, and it's contagious to watch him go from a cynical alcoholic to a murderous assassin with a softened heart. The performer does a fantastic job of selling the toughness of his character. Although Warcola's Christmas heist film Violent Night portrays gory season beatings, it is evident from reviews that it is more than just a superficial action film. While movies like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and fellow holiday slasher The Mean One have given audiences various twisted interpretations of cherished classic children's characters, Violent Night reviews indicate that it doesn't hesitate to stay authentic to the more wholesome aspect of the character. Violent Night might turn out to be a surprise holiday blockbuster, after all, thanks to Harbour's portrayal of Saint Nick and the film's inventively horrific Christmas-themed executions. And that's all we want for Christmas. And now, what convinced the directors of David Harbour's role as Santa? In response to questions about how he was chosen for the role, Ricola said that it's a boring answer and seems like it's made up. But it was one of those occasions when pretty early on, he, producers, and the studio were looking through names and what agents were recommending. And amidst that, someone suggested David's name, and they knew then and there he was perfect for the role. The filmmaker went on to say that Harbour was in New Orleans filming a Netflix project when he heard the script and fell in love with the idea. According to Ricola, Harbour's involvement made the agreement official. Pat Casey and Josh Miller, who wrote the screenplay for Sonic the Hedgehog, had the concept for a Die Hard-style Christmas film when they were in high school in the 1990s, but with Santa Claus in place of John McClane. In order to unleash the beatings of the season, Ricola exploits the natural sweetness of Trudy and her predicament as leverage. Ricola takes a little break after each horrifying and creative killing to keep the festive mood alive before repeating the beatings and beheadings with wild enthusiasm. Trudy is portrayed by Brady in an endearing and pleasant way, and the balance is what makes this work so beautifully. Harbour, also famously known for his role as Hopper, will complete his character's arc in Stranger Things Season 5 and return to his MCU role in the next Thunderbolts film. In Black Widow, Harbour demonstrated his action and comedic talents, which are equally significant in Violent Night, as opposed to Stranger Things, where he was able to showcase his genre and comic skills. Many of the viewers particularly loved his bond and chemistry with Eleven, who was played by Millie Bobby Brown. The loving relationship that developed between the two was one of the highlights of the show, and something similar is being asked of his role in this movie with the character Trudy. Judging from the trailer, it seems like we're watching an overweight Hopper build his relationship with a young Eleven all over again. Except this time, he's wearing a Santa's costume instead of that of a police officer. This guy really is the entire package. Up next, how did David grow his love handles to play this role? In the movie Violent Night, Harbour portrays a drunken, miserable Santa who, as the story progresses, reveals to have a very unique set of skills beyond his ability to distribute gifts all across the world in one night. When robber mercenaries threaten a wealthy family in their mansion, Harbour's brave Saint Nick fights the bad guys in an effort to save the clan's youngest member, who's played by Leah Brady. Harbour had to change his physique in order to appear as someone who could beat the living crap out of bad guys while simultaneously being, well, let's just say, cuddly enough to resemble a believable Santa. When asked about his workout journey, Harbour explained what seems to be the diet of our dreams. He said, "I added roughly 70 pounds. Just the padding was what I needed, and I was in Winnipeg. I trained for it for months by practicing jiu-jitsu and growing really large for it. I actually put on a ton of training because I wanted to participate in as many of the on-screen fights as possible. I wanted him to appear like a large, muscular, old-fashioned Santa. You can see how large I became in the film. I have a cheery old belly, but I also have shoulders and other features that aren't included in the traditional Coca-Cola Santa drawings. It was quite odd." Don't go anywhere because we're just about to tell you what the critics have to say about the movie. And now, what do the early reviews say about this action comedy? Early Violent Night reviews mention David Harbour's unexpectedly deadly Santa Claus at the film's high point. David Leitch directed the action comedy. Reviews praised the film's brutal and weird action and surprisingly touching take on traditional holiday values, citing Harbour's portrayal of Santa Claus as one of the cast's highlights. Early reviews of Violent Night have emphasized elements of the movie that the trailers only briefly hinted at, despite the fact that much of the movie's early promotion focused on Harbour's Santa Claus and the film's graphic violence. While Harbour Santa is a complex character with depth that not only explains what made him cynical, but also gives him a sweeter side that stays true to the figure's core ideals. Harbour's Santa isn't just reduced to a gimmick, thanks to Trudy's faith in him and what he stands for. Instead, he's a startlingly hilarious yet recognizable take on a figure many people have grown up with. Angie Han from TR wrote that Tommy Riccola's Violent Night is one that fulfills all of the claims made on the packaging. It may not always deliver on what is stated on the box, but it is not required to. This movie looks destined to become an alternative holiday classic for those who love and look forward to the idea of a home invasion comedy thriller starring David Harbour as a sledgehammer-wielding Kris Kringle. Moreover, Ben F. Silverio stated that even the most cynical Grinch is bound to feel their heart swell at least 3 sizes watching this film, especially if they enjoy constant action and outrageous violence that you can or should only see on the big screen. He further added that although some of what these home intruders go through are absolutely bizarre, they deserve it because they are the evil ones. Even so, this merry movie nevertheless succeeds in capturing the spirit of Christmas, and it should be included in the usual holiday movie schedule alongside Miracle on 34th Street, Batman Returns, and Die Hard. It's difficult to escape the crazy, much like the commotion that undoubtedly resulted after Grandpa being struck by a reindeer. And let's not forget our favorite review up until now by Tim Grierson from Screen Daily. He wrote that Violent Night, a humorous, derivative action comedy in which Santa Claus is a John Wick-like badass who must face off with a house full of thieves, manages to fit both madcap gore and holiday season sentiments into its bag of goods. All of it adds up to a joyously hilarious holiday adventure that will satisfy your craving for the ultimate Christmas action movie. Violent Night easily gets a spot on the critics' nice list thanks to its high death toll, explosive violence, tons and tons of slaughter, heart, and seasonal happiness. The movie is set to release on December 2nd in theaters. Let us know what you think of the movie judging from the trailer in the comments section. One thing we know for sure is we're glad Harbour is getting the recognition he deserves. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.